type of person becomes a student leader?
To me, the student leaders just seem so like, wow, they're like adults. They know so much. I didn't even think that that's something that I could be.
The kind of person who becomes a student leader is someone who has a desire to do something greater than themselves.
I was a high school student leader, then junior counselor, from 75 to 78.
I definitely don't think of myself as someone, outdoorsy. I'm really into ballet, and I'm also really into technology, so those things don't really, you wouldn't look at me and say, oh, he's an outdoor school student leader, I don't think.
But student leaders, like, you bond with them instantly, and they, like, accept you no matter where they're from. Like, if they're rich and you're poor, they don't really care because you're all dressed the same, and you don't, like, you all have a sleeping bag and a pair of clothes, and, like, it's all you need there.
What would happen if we didn't have outdoor school? People like me wouldn't graduate high school.
How so?
How so? I had no interest in being in school. Absolutely none at all. My two older brothers both dropped out of school. Most of my friends did. The school district where I went to didn't really encourage that a lot. And, I stayed in school because I got to go to outdoor school 2 times a year.
It feels sort of, it's sort of an indescribable feeling of having a 6th grader, say back to you what you've been teaching them, and they're smiling and they're really into it.
Outdoor school generates scientists and educators and decision makers and policy makers. And I just don't know how we can afford to not send kids.
I can tell you this, I can never think back to a specific week of high school, but I can always think back to every part of my outdoor school experience. I can tell you who my cabin partner was, tell you all the girls in my cabin, tell you all about what the weather was like on Thursday when we had a crazy field day experience, yet I would never be able to tell you what I learned on Thursday of September 14th, 2009 in my geometry class.
The cuts in education are a crisis on their own, but thinking about not sending students in our region to outdoor school, it's negligence.